Hey, you guys, it's Mrs. C, and I'm here with some serious questions for you. I have the quantity of 5, so pretty much just 5 times question mark. So 5 times what is equal to 0? I know you're not used to starting off a pencast with me asking you a question, but this is an interesting question. And followed down below that, here's one for you. What question mark times 7 equals 0? Now, I know you're already kind of looking around like, am I on the right pencast? Did she decide to go down into like a 4th grade, maybe a 3rd grade class and do a pencast? No, this is for you, my Algebra 1ers. So answer the question. I can get a nice color. So what is it? 5 times what equals 0? Oh, so you think it's that easy? 5 times 0 is 0? Yeah, you're right. All right, let's come on down here. What times 7 equals 0? Right again. Okay, so you think it's that easy? How about 7 times what equals 0? 0 times 7 was 0, so 7 times what is 0? Right again. Okay, too easy? No problem. I know, I hear you groaning. No, it's not too easy. This is fine. We like this. I'll just change it up in the way I present it. How about 5 times x equals 0? You knew it was coming, right? What's x equal to? Yep, x would have to be equal to 0. What if I changed it up here? Hang on a minute. Hang on, I can do this. X times 7 equals 0. X equals, right, 0. It's pretty intuitive, isn't it? Anything times 0 gives you the product of 0. I'm just curious. If I wrote it in a, I don't know, say like an equation form, would you be okay? 2 times what equals 0? You know, back in the day when we had to actually solve an equation and we didn't use intuition, what would you do to both sides to get this answer? To get x by itself. That's what I mean. To figure out that x is already equal to 0, which you already know because 2 times would have to be 0. This has to be 0 for this to be true. But what would you have done? What would the process be? Divide both sides by whatever's touching x. It's the same process. In this case, 0 divided by 2 is 0. So there's the process that backs it up, but we're really going with intuition here a little bit, aren't we? I think so. So why, Mrs. Crusoe, are you dragging us through zeros? Because I'm going to use that. So let me just show you how I'm going to use that. I'm going to give you an oldie but a goodie, 2x squared plus, I don't know, let's say 3x, and let's say minus, I'm thinking, it's not easy to make these things up, you know, in your head, 15. Maybe it's easy for some people. It's not so easy for me. Let's factor that. Right? It's a trinomial. It's a quadratic trinomial, which means I can factor it by the product of 2 binomials. So sum product. And so go to the product first. You can pause me at any time. I'm having a party here, so I just wanted to go on my own. See if I did this right in my head, right? 5 and 3, that's what I was thinking. 5 and 3 gave me 15. But I need to subtract them to get a 3. Oops. Okay. Change this. Stop laughing at me. You know, it is 5 o'clock in the morning, so I think I probably should have put a what? Yeah, that would have made smart. See, not good in my head. Should always have the problem in front of me. This is what I was thinking. X squared plus 2x minus 15. Okay, so the 5 times the 3 would give me the 15, and I need to subtract them so that I get a 2, so my 5 would have to be positive, right? And this would have to be negative. So just check me. Did I do that right? Is the quantities of x plus 5 times x minus 3 equal to the quadratic trinomial of x squared plus 2x minus 15? I believe it is. How could you check it? box method, exactly. Or find an answer key, which you know is in my head. Not a good idea. So you could use box method. Say you're still sitting there going, no, she's still screwed up. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, then box method and prove me wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm right on this case. So the question is, why are you showing me this, Mrs. Crusoe? We already did this. We know how to do this. Oh, do we know how to do this? Yes, we do. So let me show you what you don't know how to do, and can we use that intuition to push one step further? These are quadratic trinomial expressions, right? They're expressions because there's no equal sign. Fine, I'll give you an equal sign. But I decided to set the whole thing equal to 0. Now, remember, I'm making up the problem. So you're either given an expression or you're given an equation. That's given to you in the problem. So you don't just randomly throw an equals 0 to a problem unless you are me and you are creating a problem. So I'm giving you a new problem. The new problem is not an expression but an equation. It's telling you that x squared plus 2x minus 15 is equal to 0. This whole thing, when you figure out what x is and you evaluate for that value, you're going to square it, you're going to times it by 2, add those together, take away 15, and your answer is going to be 0. That's what this is saying. You could just randomly guess and check numbers for x and see if they work. I don't recommend that. For example, what I'm saying is you could just randomly pick a number. How about 3? Make that 3. Make that 3. Play this out and see if you get 0. Well, 3 squared is 9. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 15. I'm gonna scream if I did this right. Oh my gosh. I'm not usually this brilliant. 9 plus this, that's 15. Minus 15. X is equal to 3. I did it. X is equal to 3. I had a moment of clarity, and I got the answer. Okay, let's use that. You saw I don't do things in my head very well. Backing up, backing up, backing up. How do you use algebra to get the 3? And I don't know if 3 is the only answer, because with quadratics, I often have more than one answer. Just saying. You got to be ready for more than one option. And you'll see how that plays out. So let's go ahead and recall how we factored this before. It was x here, it was x here, it was a 3 and a 5, and it was a negative and a positive there. Is that true? Is x squared plus 2x minus 15 equal to x minus 3 times x plus 5? Yes. Don't forget to bring this down. So here's my question to you. Didn't you just get through telling me that if this quantity, say this quantity is equal to, I'm just making it up, 7. Could this quantity over here be equal to, say, 8? No, that can't happen because the product of the two has to equal 0, and that wouldn't work. How do you get a product of 0? One of them has to be 0. This could be equal to 0. That would work. Or option, this one could be equal to 0. And this could be 8. That would work. The situation is one of these products or both have to be equal to 0. And that's how we can use algebra to help us speed us on our way. For example, this x minus 3, this one right here, this quantity could be equal to 0. Or this one, x plus 5 could be equal to 0. Or both of them could be equal to 0 because 0 times 0 is 0. But I know for sure one of them has to be, because there's no other way to get 0 as a product. 0 has to be in the problem. So I don't know. Let's figure out what would this scenario give us. Plus 3, plus 3. There it is. There's my guess. When I said, I don't know, let's make it 3. Well, yeah, x could be equal to 3. If x was equal to 3, then that left side would be 0. Wouldn't matter that if x is equal to 3, this would be 3 plus 8, right? Because 8 times 0 is still 0. It doesn't matter what the other one is. That's the beauty of it. Just one of them matters. So let's come over to this other side. minus 5, right? Minus 5. Here's where you're going to see what the other answer is. The other answer is negative 5. How does that make sense? How can you have more than one answer? Well, look at it. Come back up here and just take a look at it. If x was equal to a negative 5, here and here, then play that out in your heads. What's negative 5 squared? Negative 5 squared is 25. I'm going to circle it because there's a lot of stuff going on here. Negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. And then what is 2 times a negative 5? That's a negative 10. And a negative 15 is still here, right? So what do you get when you take a negative 10? I like to put my negatives together. What do you get when you put a negative 10 and a negative 15 together? You get same sign sum, a negative 25. And then if you add a 25 to a negative 25, what do you get? 0. And so you see 2 answers to most quadratics. You're probably wondering, how do I write that answer? For now, this is awesome. 2 boxes. There's other ways, and I'll show you how to write them, but let's just do that for now. All right. I'm going to take you straight to the practice because I have a page of practice because you do not want me making this stuff up anymore. So let me see. I'm searching. I can't quite tell. I think that's, yep, that looks like it, doesn't it? All right, don't ask what this, hang on, I got to get this to select. Oh gosh, all right, how do I move this? Can't I move? Hang on, guys. I'm sorry. Should have thought this through a little bit better. There it is. Let me try that again. I want it a little bit smaller. And I just didn't shrink it down good enough. There it is. I feel better now. Okay. Okay. There it is. Sorry. Here are some problems. Look at how they give it to you. The directions, I actually kept the directions. I have no idea what the cube is, but I'm sure we could read the directions and figure it out. It says solve each equation below. Find the solution set in the answer list and notice the letter next to it. Each time the exercise number appears in the code, write this letter above it. Keep working and you will decode the title of the picture. Okay, so we're just going to be titling the picture. So, all right, I know I'm making noise here, but I've got to shift. Let's pick problem number 1. All right, now problem number 1 reads a squared plus 7a plus 10 equals 0. Now, I just gave you on the last couple pages some intuition. Intuition's always harder because it really is, it's asking you to kind of get and understand what you're doing. Guys, I made it very successfully through Algebra 1, having no clue what I was doing. So here's how I was taught to do it. You can do it this way. Have intuition at a later date. It's really all right. So if you're confused, forget everything I just said and just do what I'm telling you to do. I promise you're going to do wonderful for this activity. Factor using the sum product a squared plus 7a plus 10. It goes something like this, right? Bring down that equals 0. It's a product of 10, which is going to be a 2 and a 5. And put the a's in the front and just put your signs in. Everybody's positive, everybody's positive. So you have a plus 2 equals, a plus 2 times a plus 5 equals 0. Break them up into their own 2 separate problems. A plus 2 equals 0. A plus 5 equals 0. Usually I do them side by side. You can do them like this. I would caution you to not do it this way. You might forget the a plus 5 and just go with one answer. So we're going to solve for this one. That's a minus 2 from both sides. That's a equals a negative 2. And don't forget, you got to do this one. A equals a negative 5. 2 solutions. Now look at the answer key over here. Do you see a equals, and see they have it in set brackets? That's great. It's one less a you have to write. So where do we see, since these are, look like they're not caring that some of them are a's and some of them are other variables, so let's forget the a, and we're just looking for a negative 5, negative 2. They'll put the smaller one first usually. So I'm looking. I'm looking. Do you see it? There it is. Took me a minute. They did not put the smaller one first. Shame on them. Okay. So there's -2, -5. I always like these puzzles. How do we do the puzzle? We find the problem number we just did, which was 1, right? And wherever we see a number 1, we put, I think that's an I. Right there. Do you see another one? I don't. Okay. And that's how you do that. Let's do it again. I wish there was a way to just erase the ink, but I would have to be doing this in Educreations to do that. Okay. Oh well. Can't be in YouTube if I'm doing Educreations, so we'll just have to deal with it. Let's try the next one. N squared. I like the black right now. How about we go N squared minus 8N plus 12 equals 0. Now go ahead and do this on your own. See if you can. If you can't, just listen to the directions one more time. I'll do it again for you. Pause it or just don't pause it, and I'm going to start right now. Okay, we're going to factor it. Bring down the equals 0. Tight space here, isn't it? All right, I've got to get an 8 by multiplying two numbers together, getting 12. So, well, 3 and 4, but that won't give me 8. 6 and 2, 6, 7, 8. I like 6 and 2. 6 and 2. Well, I'd have to add them. So I need both of them to be the same sign, and I need a product that's positive. Good, I'm happy. So we set them equal to 0. Solve. Plus 6 plus 6. So n equals 6. There. And plus 2 plus 2. N equals 2. I know now you're going to start saying, whoa, that's not too hard. Well, let's see if we're right. Do we see an answer with a 6 and a 2? 6 and 2, 6 and 2, 6 and 2. Oh, there it is. See, if I don't see it, now that's a C. So I just did number 2, and 2 is C. I like the puzzle. C, C. Okay, on to the next one. I like the puzzles because they really make me feel like I'm doing something here. I'm achieving a goal. I want to do one more, because we haven't done one that's not a trinomial. So let's do one that's not a trinomial. What do you do if it's not a trinomial? Make it 1. So let's take a look at 3. Now, for anybody who's watching this from the past, there is a trick to this. But right now, I'm not going to show you, I'm not going to do the trick. I'm just going to use some product to do it. All right, notice that my linear term is missing in this. This is problem number 3. So in order to use sum product, you have to have a quadratic trinomial, and the leading coefficient, the coefficient of your quadratic has to be 1. It doesn't work with any other option. So you're going to look down and see some of them you're not going to be able to do. So I better stop doing all of them because you're only going to have a few to be able to do. What you want to do in this case is give yourself a trinomial. So who's missing? If it's a quadratic trinomial, I have the quadratic and I have the constant. I don't have the linear term. So let's put it. Y squared plus no y minus 49 equals 0. I added absolutely nothing. I just stated a fact. I have no y's. So now sum product. So what two numbers do you times together to get a 49 and combine to get a 0? The same number. So we would have to have a plus 7, right? And a minus 7. And in this case, it would be the y's, right? Now, y plus and y minus, because they have to combine different sign, find the difference. We have to subtract them, not add them. I don't want 14. I want 0. So one has to be positive, one has to be negative. Set equal to 0, because I ran out of space on the right side. And you're going to find that the solution is actually minus 7 from both sides here, plus 7 from both sides here. We get y is equal to negative 7 and 7. And we're going to find that answer right there. All right. Now, because there's not enough practice, you can't do these yet. Now, if you get bored and you wanted to, you could find out how to factor those, but I don't want you to do that. So the only ones that you really can do right now are the 1 through 6, and I already did most of them. So try those, And then when you're done, come to the next page. So I'm going to bring you to the next page right now, and I am going to show you, let me pick another set of problems. I hope, no, those are answers. I think, I don't know, I don't think, I don't know, I don't think, I don't know. Oh, no, we don't want that. We're not ready for word problems, are we? I don't think so. Okay, here we go. All right, I found some practice, and if you look, you're going to notice that these are all actually in factored form. So that makes your job a little bit easier. If you look at the number 1, you can read the directions and figure out how to do the puzzle. If you look at the number 1, giving you the binomial x plus 3, x plus 8, they've already factored the trinomial for you. They're trying to make it actually easier for you, asking you to solve for x. And so you're factoring, this whole sum product job is done. All you have to do is set x plus 3, I'm just writing the problem here, x plus 8 equals 0. You just have to set each one equal to 0. X plus 3 equals 0. And here's the side to side. I like to do it like this. X plus 8 equals 0. And then solve for x. When you do the process, you'll find you have x is equal to, we'll use a little set notation, negative 3 and negative 8. I didn't even put the little one first. So negative 3, negative 8, you just look down. Did I do it right? Yep, there it is. And so you can do all of these problems. Some of them you wouldn't be able to factor yet. And that's the cool part of this activity, is it takes the factoring away. It puts it in what is factored form. And then you just have to solve from there. That's making your life a little bit easier. The other thing, so you can do this practice, you can do the practice from the page before, and as always, guys, you can go to CUDA. CUDA has under, again, we are solving quadratic trinomials. Remember, you have to have a coefficient of your leading quadratic, the quadratic term. It has to be a 1. You can't do it unless it is. So stay away from anything that has maybe 2x squared, 5x squared. You're not ready for that just yet. So you can go to CUDA, but you have to be picky about the problems that you try. Make sure they look like the ones that we've been doing. Most worksheets don't actually give it to you in factored form. Now, if you go through all of the stuff that I've left you, there is the red satellite book in the classroom, the workbook, and the textbooks. You can go for more practice there, or you can search for some practice online. Also, Khan Academy will have practice probably as a star practice after you watch the videos. You don't have to watch the videos, just sign up for the practice, and Sal will generate those problems for you. So you are on your own at this point to practice with whatever time your class has left over, and when we get back, when I get back tomorrow, you should be ready to go on this and have all your questions, concerns, or comments ready for me so that I can help you. All right, guys, you got a lot to get doing, get going, get busy, and I'll see you on, what is it? The flip side.